Quanell X, you're on the Michael Berry Show.
Good morning, Mike. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Michael. How are you doing?
See, that's what happens when you sleep so late. Then the first conversation you have in the day, you say good afternoon.
No, Mike, I've been busy all day. I've really lost my voice.
What's going on, my man?
I am doing well. How's you and your family, sir?
Everybody's wonderful.
I was listening to what you were saying about activism, and you're making a lot of sense on a lot of points. A lot of people need to understand some things, and I'm going to say this, and some may not like it. A lot of white people need to understand this. Unless you are willing to collectively come together with other like-minded people and recognize that all of you have a single issue that you can rally around, that you can organize around, that you can mobilize around. And if that single issue will bring forth change that's positive for one or two or three individuals within the entire body of individuals will benefit from that. You can't wait for politicians and pastors and ministers and people in quote-unquote leadership positions to do for you what God has given you the talent and the wherewithal to mobilize and organize and do for yourself. Remember, Jesus didn't have a Senate. He didn't have a Congress. He had God, the message that God gave him, and himself. But you have everybody talking about the cross that Jesus carried, but they themselves don't want to carry one. That's why Christ said, not my cross, but that cross. Pick up that cross and follow me. People want to talk about what needs to be done, but they don't want to pick up the cross because they want to talk about Jesus' crucifixion, but they themselves don't want to be crucified. Whenever an enemy that you have will see that you're unafraid to be crucified by their words, by their thoughts, and even sometimes their actions, when they see that you are fearless and you are mobilized and you are organized, they will deal with you differently. People can call into a radio station and complain all the time, but unless they are willing to stand up and say, I will be the individual that will mobilize others around this issue because we can and will make change.
You know who I feel like right now, Quanell? You know who I feel like right now?
I didn't hear you, sir.
You know who I feel like right now?
I can hear you.
You know who I feel like right now?
Who was that?
I feel like that, guy, because I actually agree with everything you just said. Keep going.
You know, Michael,
I had to interject a little comedy. Go ahead. I actually 100% agree with what you just said. 100%.
You know, what bothers me is that America is the greatest nation on earth. But we have to understand, when you look at the state of this nation, when you look at what's going on in this nation with crime, with the educational system, with the healthcare system, with Social Security, with politics in this nation, only a fool fights in a burning house. America is on fire. And unless we all collectively look for some water to put this fire out, and it's not going to be a comfortable process, but if you're looking to be comfortable and make change, you will never make change. It's only those that are willing to be uncomfortable and stand up without compromise and recognize what the problems are, what your color is, but collectively come together and address the problem without fear. And I guarantee you, you will make change. But if you're waiting on somebody in leadership to do it for you, you will be waiting.
You know what you do, Quanell? You ever so often, you just throw in some really good stuff, and then you throw people off because they're like, dang, I agree with that dude. Gosh, dog it, I don't want to.
Well, Michael, people get a 5 or 10 second soundbite of me, and they think they really know me. They really do not really know the man. I'm much more than a 5 or 3 second soundbite. And what people have to understand, often a lot of things I've done over the years, I knew I would offend many. I knew I would upset many. But when I upset them, when I offended them, it was not in my heart to offend, but I had to do it because the issue that they were ignoring was so serious and so great and affected so many that if I offended them and hurt them to some small degree, but it forced them to deal with the issue that I was advocating, well, then I've done my job. Because you have a lot of us in leadership who are comatose to the state of the people, who are comatose to the voice of the voiceless, who are comatose to those who need help. And if we allow them to remain comatose and don't slap them across the head and wake them up, well, then you'll never see the change that you know you deserve and that this nation deserves.
I can't honestly say that you've said anything that I disagree with. Honestly.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you allowing me to say that because it's really the truth. We can agree to disagree, so we don't have to become disagreeable, but some things we're not going to agree on. But at least if you respectfully say, I disagree with you, well, then I know who you really are. Don't smile at my face. The father's a frown turned upside down, and you're pretending like you agree with me, but behind closed doors, you work against the interests of the people. And it's happening in politics. Politics is hurting all of us because none of our real political people in office are willing to stand up and say the things that are not popular when it's not popular to say it, but it's about being right. Because one thing about Christ, he didn't come to be popular, he came to be right.
Quanell X, thanks for being on, brother.
Well, I appreciate that.
The Michael Berry Show. That's radio for you.
How about them apples, boy?